Man, I feel like we're talking about lunatic right-wingers almost on a daily basis now. Today we're talking about Mr. Paul Joseph Twatson. You guys know him yesterday. The previous lunatic right-winger we did a video on was Stefan Molyneux, who's also a lunatic. Paul Joseph Twatson is also very insane. Before we get into today's video, I want to let you guys know that I'm over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/TheProgressiveVoice. If you'd like to access premium content, go over there. Access videos on Nico House, Sam Harrison, David Pakman, Destiny, Kyle Klinsky, whatever. There's a bunch of good stuff over there, so make sure to go over there and check that out. It's patreon.com/TheProgressiveVoice. With that said, let's jump into the video here. So, what's weird about this, alright, he posts this video of a bunch of girls twerking, alright? Twerking is when you shake your ass. It's a pretty popular dance move, has been for a while now. And he responds to this by saying modernity. Now, he didn't say much here, but basically his response is to be like, look at what's going on now. And he's made a video on popular culture. If you haven't checked out Anthony Fantano, who we're going to talk about in a second, his video responding to Paul Joseph Twatson, if I remember, I'll link in the description box. Make sure to go check it out. It's called like Paul Joseph Twatson Stink Piece or something. Make sure to go check that out. It's a really dope video. But basically, he is on record kind of going off on popular culture and stuff. He's even gone so far as to be like, hey, this kind of stuff like this, a bunch of girls twerking in the same room, is giving groups like ISIS justification for attacking us. That's seriously something he said in that video. So, that's the kind of things. And then a bunch of these responses here are people, like, it says, don't you all miss classy women? Single Mothers Association meeting 2019. And it's like, it's just so many of these, man. It's crazy. Not modern at all. It's a sickening return to paganism with fertility cults that are throwbacks to the Stone Age, which is hilarious because the irony of that is the accurate thing would be it is backwards in terms of being, a Puritan age, back when they used to do this Scarlet Letter, for example, branding, etc., etc. Then this loser, the quartering, said, looks like perhaps a Guinness World Record attempt at the most pubic crabs in one. Like, this guy obviously is going to say that. I mean, that dude's like the picture-perfect incel of all time, So he's obviously going to say that. But what really is fascinating to me personally is he's right in stride with the crazy Muslim lunatic imams. I've literally seen videos of those motherfuckers who will be like, I've literally seen one of them say that women shouldn't be able to drive because they might be going fast over a speed bump and then they might get an orgasm when they go over the speed bump. And there was also one where it was like women need to wear scarves because from a distance, if they're not, they might look like, they might look like a guy or something, and you might get a hard-on or some shit like that. I remember Kyle did a video on that. You're basically in stride with that. I don't understand this. And this idea that, like, a woman can't shake her ass and be a feminist as if those two things are, like, mutually exclusive. How the fuck is that mutually exclusive? That makes no sense. A straight dude specifically, who looks at this video, something's going to get hard, and you're going to enjoy the video. Point blank. Now, Paul didn't enjoy the video, which means one of two things. Either he gets excited by other stuff, or he just hates women. Could be a mixture of both, although it's probably one or the other. But a normal person who's just a straight dude looks at this, gets excited, and likes the video. That's it. You're not going to be like, oh, look at these. Like, it's just so comes off as like this weird woman hatred that's going on. Like, bro, what is wrong? What kind of weird shit are you bringing out of yourself to put onto these women that you're looking at? What kind of seething hatred do you have inside of you? I don't know if he just just got really his feelings hurt or something, but it's just super weird. And so if we go down here to Mr. Anthony Fantano, he says, high levels of incel energy in these responses. Good looks, Paul. And it's true. Not only is it high levels of incel energy in his responses, his tweet itself is extremely incel energy. And this is hilarious. I think that someone, and I responded to this tweet, by the way, but this is so hilarious to me, folks. He can never provide a coherent or legit response to Anthony Fantano. Ever. Paul Joseph Twatson, that being. So they have like a bit of a rivalry, okay? They hate each other. They are arch enemies. Absolutely hate each other. Think of it as being, I don't know, what's like a super good rivalry? I don't know. They just hate each other, arch enemies. But he can never bring up a coherent response. He responded by saying almost as much incel energy as that time when you celebrated me being banned in a pathetic effort to make you yourself look less right-wing. So how is that in any way incel energy or have anything to do with the concept of incel or even funny at all? This is just terrible. This response makes no sense. There's no coherency here, nor does it really hold any weight simply because Anthony Fantano's already made it pretty fucking clear that he's left-wing. He literally will go off on like 100 story posts on Instagram where he's just like answering a bunch of questions and talking about how he's a progressive and shit. He tweets out stuff. He's already made it clear, is the point I'm making. So that doesn't make any sense. But even if he did that, how is that incel energy? You had 5 hours to make a response. He sent this like 5 hours later. That's the response that this man came up with. I rest my case. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. What kind of a fucking response is that? That is a horrifyingly bad response. So, again, it looks like Anthony Fantano ends up on top. This is just objective, by the way. I mean, that's not a good response at all. There's no coherency. It doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no connection. It's a bad whatever punchline joke, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's all hot garbage and trash. So, Paul Joseph Twatson definitely has some sort of repressed feelings that he's bringing out against women. Or he's excited by something else. But that wouldn't make sense because then he wouldn't be, hating on women. So it's probably that one, to be honest.